Hello, everyone. Oh, that is cropped to hell. I need to. Okay, no, that's too high.
Local man discovers cropping.
I mean, you joke, but I literally did it
Oh,
on
that's a
stream
great
live
start.
once. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bad Fanfiction Night. I am your host, Raymond McNeil. Joining me, as always, is the wonderful Twilight Guardian.
Hello. Should I grab up Takara? Because we didn't discuss this before stream.
No, unfortunately, I with how everything is laid out, I don't think that's really tenable.
Dang it!
Because I wanted to show the chat as well.
Right.
And like I can't do that if Takara is also on screen.
Right.
I'm going to I need to resize a couple of things just because like I couldn't prepare for it beforehand because I just didn't know how people were going to be in chat. So I guess I gotta shrink this down a little bit to prepare for more room. Scroll down here.
Good evening.
Good evening, Banana Man.
Okay, I'm trying to think of like when the voice channel expands, I think it pushes everything up. So that means I just have to...
Hang on a sec, I'm gonna do something.
Which means that one of the channels that everyone's going to be seeing right below the horror house is furry trash. Okay. We're just going to have to live with that.
Oh my.
You can just click the little like collapse field button at the top and it'll like hide all that under the cold shower.
Celtic,
Good
what's that
boy.
dark shadowy place? Furry trash. You must
We
never
must
go there.
Oh, don't do
These
it.
guys-
Don't answer him, no.
Don't go. Don't go there. You'll never be the same.
Ruby hiatus made us do some weird things.
Joker,
Furry
no.
trash.
Joker. Joker, no.
Furry trash changes the man.
Yes. Hello for everyone. This is the first ever live Bad Fanfiction Night.
Yay!
For anyone that's
Oh,
curious, the reason why this is happening is because I got fed up with, like, I kept staring at all the recordings. We usually did Bad Fanfiction Night every Friday anyway. This has been a thing we've been doing for the last, like, 2 years at this rate.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 2 of them edited and uploaded on my stream. And I actually tried to get an editor for one of them, and that fell through. So I've just kind of been in the lurch. It's such an effort to edit these that it's like, screw it. We might as well just do it live at this rate. Just have fun with everyone going through them and getting everyone's live reaction. So
I will read all
I
of
don't
them
know if
over
he's-
again.
I don't know if he's realized quite the mistake he's just made, but let's go with it.
I was going to say, I am going to enforce this.
Server you're ever gonna get.
I'm going to enforce this. I want everyone your best behavior. All right. All right. If we get demonetized or worse, a strike, I'm going to be very cross with everyone in this chat.
Oh god.
No bad words like poopy. No poopies allowed.
I was going to say,
This Bad Fanfiction Night is now rated a strict PG-13.
don't worry. You'll have to dance around the fact that Kiara is incredibly hot and bothered for some rats.
Oh, what are we gonna do for future fanfics that are more adult rated?
No, I mostly joke about the demonetization. Like we know where this is going. Bad Fanfiction Night. We literally ended up with a counter for the times that Mycan was unintentionally horny in his face.
There'll be an Adult Swim version of Bad
Yeah.
Fanfiction Night.
That said, of course we have the opt out button that we always do, which is where we just immediately cancel working on the fic that we're on. We've only ever had to use that once, but dear God, did we need to?
Yeah, we did. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And then
It was a Sailor Moon fic. It doesn't deserve to be talked about any further.
Oh no.
yeah, it was.
No, what you had to say was a Sailor Moon fic, I
You
understand.
don't want
Wait a
to
minute.
know.
No, you don't understand. Actually, it would not be the
No,
way you
leave it
think it
alone.
is, and you're
Oh,
not going
God.
to elaborate. We're not going to elaborate.
Nope.
on that
You're not.
If you weren't here for that Bad Fanfiction Night, then
Wait,
too
one.
bad.
It is lost
Damn.
to
You know,
time.
you know. If you don't,
Damn,
Wait
I'm
a
never
second.
being let in the club.
Wait a
No.
second.
Lost the time.
That's
Do you
not a
mean
club you wanna
lost the
be in.
recording?
I mean that if I ever find whichever I have it categorized. I remember I just need to look at my folders. But like if I ever get to editing that section is being excised and never viewed ever again. Like
Delete it now.
I'm
Damn.
scorched earth on that. It is never coming back to light.
Yeah, no.
The FBI would not know.
Just give me all of the audio, Raymond, and I'll eventually go through them. It's not like you're gonna touch them anytime soon.
So it's the Lost Ark, essentially.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to clarify on that.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It's such a bad fic because one, its subject matter is revolting, but two, it's also painfully boring.
It was
honestly.
All right, we need to stop
understandable.
talking about
Right, okay, yes. All right,
I
so to elaborate,
apologize.
to
What's going on?
Chris in this, we have just gotten done with a massive arc for about several months of covering The Ables by Jeremy Scott of CinemaSins fame.
Yep.
Which is an
I
awful
get an
book.
aneurysm every time you mention it.
It's an absolutely terrible book, mostly for the boring reasons. But as a treat to ourselves, we're returning to what is an old favorite of everyone in the chat, which is a what we lovingly call ratfic.
Ratfic.
It is a fanfic called Through My Eyes by Kiara Lee Phoenix, and there's a summary here for the original one that we did a bad fanfiction reaction to. What we are viewing today,
first, and then you can start on the sequel.
Well, yes, what we're viewing today is the sequel to that fic, which again we're going to read a summary so we catch you all up. But the thing that's special about this is that this is a lost sequel. Kiara only made, I think, 2 chapters of it.
Yeah, 2 chapters.
And our dear Mupa here, well, she rolled up her sleeves, put on the heavy-duty rubber gloves, and she went to town remaking it from scratch herself, which is amazing.
It wasn't quite from scratch. I left off from where she left off with the 2 chapters. It was like I saw the 2 chapters, like, okay, we're picking up from here, and then I kept going.
Okay.
Okay. So
so how many chapters?
But I provide a
with?
recap of what happened in those first 2 chapters.
Oh, you didn't recap that?
Ooh.
No, I did.
Oh, better than I am, Mupa.
All right, good. All right.
Yeah,
so
it's all in the fucking foreword, the author's introduction that explains everything.
Right.
So what was it like being in the headspace of the author who wrote like such a bad fanfic?
Oh, I didn't attempt to be in her headspace. I just did my own thing.
All right. Let's read this.
Then again, if you walked from one side of her head to the other, you couldn't find a single thing.
All right, we're going to begin.
No. It's all in the forward, okay? It's all in the forward.
All right. Reminder of the rules. I and Twy are the priority speakers. When we're speaking, we expect you guys to be quiet. We don't mind your comments, critiques, jabs, jibes, and what have you. And even minimal conversation, but we got to keep it to a limited amount just so we can get through as well while we're reading. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. And if you disobey us, I will mute you with extreme prejudice.
Oh, my.
So here we go, starting off with Ratfic 2 Electric Boogaloo. We're going to summarize the first one. Through My Eyes follows the harrowing adventure of Kiara Phoenix, self-insert to the author who went by the same online handle, Kiara Phoenix, as she finds herself suddenly unwillingly transported to the world of the Great Mouse Detective 1 year following the events of the movie. Shrunk to the size of a mouse, she discovers that Ratigan and his various henchmen survived the events at the end of the movie and are once intent on causing trouble.
There might be typos in the summary.
Namely, Ratigan, it's accurate, so it's fine.
Staying true to the source material, I see.
Namely, Ratigan invented a time machine, journeyed to Kiara's time, found out he exists as a character in a movie, saw Kiara drawing him, and mentioned that he was a favorite of hers, and immediately developed intense romantic feelings and decided he needed to kidnap her and take her back to his timeline. While in Mouse London, Kiara makes friends with Mouse London.
Mouse London.
Say it with a straight face, I dare you.
London, but like a mouse version.
You're going to call it like Munden or Laos or something?
No.
I think you'll find that Laos is actually a place. Kiara makes friends with various mice there, including making the very close and a special acquaintance of Basil himself, while trying to figure out a way back to go home. Ratigan hires one particularly nasty henchman to help him in his endeavors to recapture Kiara after she escapes him, and this henchman is named Chippendale. Chippendale utilizes the time machine to further kidnap and menace such people close to Kiara as her younger sister Haley and her friend Al. Oh, I forgot about, like, I'm remembering this
yeah.
as we go. Chippendale,
Little
who we
Al.
always talk about, was actually a Chippendale. We all know what that means.
Shouts out.
And then
timeline?
And then her friend Al, that we always pronounced Al.
It's only respectful.
Eventually, Kiara manages to save both her sister and her friend, talks Ratigan into not being evil anymore, and also not crushing on her anymore, and all the characters join forces to stop Chippendale from doing evil bad things, namely murdering Kiara and the others. Didn't they stop him from murdering the Rat Queen princess?
Oh, yeah, was that a thing? I forgot about that. Listen, towards the end of the fic, you just kind of you lose the attention span. Honestly, like the end of the fic is very foggy for me.
I'm trying to think of the fic that like most consistently made us laugh, aside from like 40 H's, which is
probably one of the Mike and ones probably.
It was 30 H's.
Like, is this purposefully laugh or is this laugh like accidental?
I was gonna say, like, we've not read a fic that has been intentionally this funny.
Damn.
Yeah. Raymond and the other participants of the stream had a religious experience with 30 H's.
I think I was there too.
No,
I was there too.
I like how you tried to exclude yourself from that, Twilight. Just because you're atheist doesn't mean you can't have a religious experience.
Do you have any idea how crazy a fic has to be to make an atheist believe in God?
That is almost impressive.
All right. Once Chippendale has been dealt with, in order to help Basil and Ratigan reconcile, Kiara suggests to them both become her godfathers, which they readily accept and platonically cuddle with her as they all sleep in the same bed. And then Kiara goes home, and they live happily ever after. Yeah, so I want to just get this out right, because we'll probably notice it. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you continue this, Moopa, but
I do. I continue my thoughts on the whole storyline in the forward.
I was gonna say, like, the I'm trying to think of how to word this best for maximum comedy. Kiara is down bad for these rats. Like,
yeah.
You can tell in her writing, she really, really wants to sleep with the rats. I don't know if you mentioned in here that all of her stories are read by her parents.
I do.
Okay.
It.
All right.
It's actually a plot point.
Oh God. Okay. All right.
Oh.
You'll notice that this fanfic in fanfiction.net was tagged "Hurt and Comfort."
Oh no.
Hurt and comfort.
Danger.
Hurt myself today.
I was cooking.
I think I took psychic damage IRL.
Okay. Well, let me get the chat back up so I have it in the corner for me. Yeah.
What is this? London for mice?
All right, so let's dive into this.
But why Momo?
Official sequel, the unofficial sequel, sorry. Continuation of Kira Lee Phoenix fanfic, Across His Eyes. Connect to the Stars by, should I mention your fanfic?
You might as well, just Onimode.
Onimode. Kiara is once again whisked away into a movie, this time A Bug's Life. While her friends from the Great Mouse Detective attempt to rescue her, she must help the ants navigate the new danger they face with and discover the meaning of her own struggles. Also crosses over with Futurama, the Bible, and Kingdom Hearts.
Combo.
I intentionally did not read the description. That took me by surprise.
Okay. I've been having weird dreams lately.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
I remember he was conflicted.
I want this known, by the way, because Raymond didn't say it, but everyone, remember, open bar.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Forward. For legal reasons, this is a work of fiction based on properties which I have no ownership. Kiara L. Phoenix and her much-acclaimed fanfic Through My Eyes of The Great Mouse Detective Canon of Fanfics is an interesting case study. While far from the first to utilize a self-insert in her writings, the degree to which she incorporated her personal life and experiences, including references to her family, created for a compelling character unlike any other. TME is undoubtedly her most complete and extensive work, as well as being one of her earliest. However, when Kiara began to draft a sequel, Across His Eyes, many years later, it met with disaster. Inspired by both the rediscovery of a dream journal she kept as a child and real-life events that were probably occurring at the time, the sequel fanfic never got further than the first 2 chapters. It has been suspected within certain scholarly circles that Kiara's family were aware of her creative endeavors and had intervened and stifled her creative choices in TME. Perhaps they convinced her to cease work on the sequel, deeming the material in the first 2 chapters too close to real life to continue. However, that doesn't mean anything to me. TME, as great as it is, has earned its sequel. Even if not penned by the original author herself, I am determined to see through what I consider to be an ideal continuation of the epic story of Kiara Began. I cannot claim that the following work is exactly what Kiara would have written. Okay, I kind of wish you had you had actually done the opposite. It's like, I profess this is exactly how Kiara would have written it, right down to the letter. Yes.
Just trust me, bro.
Oh my god.
I cannot.
Lupa, you're a goddess.
Trust me.
You're reconstructing the lost page of Beowulf with this.
This is the tome of Gilgamesh right here.
I cannot claim that the following work is exactly what Kiara would have written, and indeed it will likely deviate strongly from Kiara's original intentions and plans. But just as Kiara was dedicated to putting all of herself into her creative works, so have I chosen to put great swaths of my own experiences and philosophies into this work, spiritually reaching out my hand in our shared interest in hardships such as they are. While Kiara Phoenix, the character, was explicitly based on an avatar for the real person who went by the same name online, in this fic, Kiara the character should be considered divorced from the real person. She is not representative of the real person, and neither are any references to her family representative of those real individuals. All portrayals and references to any and all real people are purely coincidental. Readers are strongly encouraged to read Kiara Lee Phoenix's previous work, Through My Eyes, for the full context of the story, and the characters as they will be reoccurring in this sequel. While reading the incomplete edition of Kiara's sequel, Across His Eyes, is available at the reader's discretion, it is not considered necessary for this fic. A brief recap is provided thus. Kiara has been having reoccurring dreams regarding a mysterious man with amber eyes, stepping on her head until it gets squashed. While troubled, Kiara nonetheless resolves to enjoy her high school graduation with her friends, particularly her best friend, Ow! However, the celebrations are spoiled when she learns from her sister that their parents are seeking a divorce. Devastated, Kiara plans to stay the night with Ow and put off facing the situation at home with her family. While attempting to put both the divorce and the anxieties of her dreams behind, she receives a visit from her sister Haley about some disaster unfolding, and Haley's friend Kieran being kidnapped. Before Kiara can fully digest the new situation, she herself is visited by the same whirlwind disaster and the familiar sounds of Chippendale's gruff voice before she suddenly finds herself on Ant Island, face to face with one of the residents. Connect the Stars continues from here. All right, so that's the thing to keep out. Ant Island. Gotta put it like a reverb on that.
I was not prepared for that.
Do you have reverb or not?
Fortnite edition.
Unfortunately, I don't have a soundboard for myself. I have one for Discord, Discord soundboard, but that can't give me reverb, unfortunately.
Shame.
That were Brian Blessed lives.
Should we discuss that?
That was not from the story.
Was that part of the original story? Was her parents working in a divorce, and that might have touched?
It's that was part of the sequel. It gets it's like a bombshell reveal at the end of chapter 1. Like, my parents are getting a divorce. It's like a thing. It just got announced. It just got announced.
Teddy Bear Paladin, that one wizard mini. I cast Smurples. So wait, was that actually happening to her? Do we have confirmation that there was a divorce?
Well, later on in her drawings on DeviantArt, she stops mentioning a mom. She starts mentioning her dad's girlfriend.
Oh.
It really happened.
Oh, dear.
So I take it that she started living with the dad.
Seems like it.
That is, I feel.
Although I
bad
can't
for
say
her.
for sure on that front. Either way, she was still close with her dad.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into. Didn't she have a weird daddy complex too?
She did. Yeah, she did.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
It's gonna
that
come up.
explains
It's gonna come
Radigan.
up. Don't worry. It's
Oh.
gonna come up.
Oh, I am so excited. I am so excited to see
Oh,
just
boy.
how disastrous this is. Actually, I'm going to shift everything over a little bit. 1 minute. Can you maybe move a little faster? I'm trying to make sure this format is nice and clean for people. It's a little. Why is it not moving faster when I do shift arrow? That's most things usually go faster. All right.
Wait, hold up. So all of that was just like the preface.
Yeah, that was the
and-
preamble.
That was the preamble.
Yeah.
That was the introduction.
Preamble
Just
to the Constitution.
basically get everyone caught up to the same page. Ignore the
God
fact
damn.
that it's completely forgotten by the person that wrote this fanfic that they saved the queen. That's just small. No, don't worry about that. Minor plot point. And you think that's a joke? No, I'm being serious. Minor plot point. Kiara screamed. The ant screamed. They both screamed at each other, the sound reverberating off the dirt and grass stems. Every other nearby ant turned their heads. The screaming ant ran to the others, where they quickly formed up in a circle around Kiara. They muttered and whispered to each other, asking what she was, saying she looked like a human, but she was too small to be a human. Kiara stumbled to her feet. "It's happening again! How is this happening again?" she whispered. I Dumbledored that. Oops.
It's all right.
"What if she's a spy?" one of the ants called out. "That's right! I saw someone who looked just like her, stalking about our island last night," another ant carrying a twig or a quarterstaff claimed. The whispers and mutters took on a distinctly more frightened pitch. "Hang on! I just got here!" Kiara raised her voice. "This is a mistake!" "The queen and prince consort will know what to do," an ant declared. Their words were soon echoed among the mob, chanting to take her to the queen and prince consort. "Stay back!" But they swarmed her anyways, their many four-fingered hands grabbing her by the upper arms, the legs, and the torso. She kicked and flailed as she was lifted high above their heads, knocking into their twitching antennae. They complained and cried out when she hit them, but nonetheless moved forward as a mass. Across the bare dirt plain towards the rising ant hill. Situated perfectly beside a tree large enough to hold up the entire sky. I know this place, Kiara thought. Up the hill, down into the tunnels, and the spiraling ramp carved into the tree roots and decorated with every manner of archaic carving. Kiara quickly lost track of the number of turns they took, up and down and back, that way encircling this. Finally, they reached a great antechamber, softly lit with scores of fluorescent mushrooms. At the head of the chamber stood an elaborate throne of small flowers and lilies. Sitting in the throne, her thorax looking a bit more swollen than Kiara remembered from the movie, was Ada. Standing next to her, with a grass sash draped across one shoulder, stood Flick, blue exoskeletoned and blue-eyed, exactly as Kiara remembered him from when she had been very small. A Bug's Life had been a favorite of hers. The mob deposited Kiara in front of them and withdrew on the extreme end of her chamber, watching in googly-eyed silence. Kiara looked back at the ant royalty staring at her. She gulped. I'm trying to remember all the different voices from the films. Do you guys think it matters, or should I just roll with whatever?
Yeah,
I want you to
man.
roll with whatever
I'm
you
not gonna hold
come
you
up
to
with.
it.
Use your cactuar voice again.
I'll
Get
hold
tricky
you to
with
it, just to be on the opposite end.
Okay, good.
The contrarian, yes.
Someone here is
Definitely
responsible. And that one person is not me, thank God.
Good.
The Royal Council. I'm trying to. Who is this that's speaking?
Oh, that's Thorny. It doesn't get clarified until like the middle of the paragraph.
Good gravy, what is that? The royal council fanned out on either side of Queen Ada and Flick. Dr. Flora, Mr. Soil, and the one who had yelled out, Thorny. Cornelius was nowhere to be seen, and neither was the former queen.
She looks like a human child, Dr. Flora observed. But how could any human be so small?
I'm not a child, Kiara pouted. I just graduated high school. The bizarre creature speaks, Mr. Soil exclaimed. All right, that's it, Kiara stamped. I've been intimidated. She stamped her other foot. Bamboozled by the emergency line. She kicked some clods of dirt. Beset by a homicidal chipmunk. She picked up another clod and threw it across the room. Kidnapped for the second time in my life. Pause. Weren't you kidnapped multiple times during your stay in House London?
Listen,
Yes.
who's counting? Who's really
What's
counting?
London?
Apparently not her.
Mess me up.
More clods went flying
It doesn't.
and hit some mushrooms. Accused of skulking around and being a spy, she turned and began marching towards the throne. Manhandled by what I thought were supposed to be a bunch of nice ants, she stopped short of Queen Ada, who didn't flinch from her gaze. And insulted to my face, I demand you all let me go home this instant. There was a long pause filled with Kiara's panting. I'm sorry, Flick spoke. It sounds like you've been through a lot today. I can promise you, we are nice ants, and we don't mean you any harm. This is a good colony. As opposed to over there, which is a bad colony.
They're all British.
Oh,
no.
It's the London ant colony. We don't talk about them.
Oh, mate, you've got a water droplet. Got a license for that water droplet.
Wow, you took Birmingham and made it worse.
We happy, yes? Peaky Blinders, but it's an anthill.
Yeah. Kiara took a deep breath and smoothed her hair back. I know, not creepy or wet. Not creepy or wet or mean at all. But then, what's with accusing me of being a spy? Not creepy or wet or mean.
That was there's an old sort of humor I used to do in fanfics back when I wrote as a teenager, where I would reference whatever I thought was currently funny. Do you know about when a guy tries to go to a gym and asks, is it a creepy gym or a wet gym? And Lily's like, what do you mean? And he shows her a chart and she's like, it's a nice gym, sir. And he goes in and it's wet.
No.
Yeah, you immediately lost me. What?
I'm so sorry.
That's like a whole thing. It's a 4chan post.
I'm thinking.
Is that like a level
I'm only
5?
thinking
I've
of
seen-
the Phalus
I have
reference.
seen variations of that format on
Don't worry
Twitter.
about it if you don't get it.
I've seen variations of that format on Twitter specifically for fighting games.
Well, you could be,
Queen Ada said.
There have been reports of someone about your size and weight sneaking around
Ant Island. It has all the colony on edge. Our suspicion is that the infiltrator is a remnant from Hopper's old gang. Sorry, I mean a gang of grasshoppers that we've banished from our island. While you aren't a grasshopper, we can't rule out the possibility that they're outsourcing their labor.
Hold up.
Outsourcing is crazy.
Hold up.
We're outsourcing our invasion forces.
Yeah, we're getting troops from across the ant border.
We're getting the fire ants.
Hopper.
Oh my god.
Kiara backed up a few steps, descending the dais the throne sat upon. Hopper's gang? You knew Hopper? Flick asked. Well, kind of. She adjusted her glasses. It's a bit hard to explain. He's definitely my enemy, though. We're not friends. He's not still alive, is he? She shivered and immediately felt
He was eaten by a
ashamed for it.
bird.
Oh, goodness, no.
Queen Ada and Flick said at the same time. He's definitely dead. Very, very dead, Flick said.
I shot him myself.
I shot him.
I double tapped.
Well, at first, we thought the entire gang had been chased off for good. Recently, we've had reports of the grasshoppers rallying, Queen Ada said. That's why we need to be cautious, in case the grasshoppers want revenge and try to subjugate us again. Your Majesty, isn't that enough telling a stranger about our problems? Thorny whispered to her. Oh, right. Her face flushed a little. She drew herself up taller in her throne. The real question we should be discussing is this. Who exactly are you? Kiara shuffled her feet and exhaled, twisting a strand of hair between her fingers. Well, how do you feel about long stories? See if fanfiction works.
Zigbar!
Nope. Okay. All right. Good thing I loaded this up. Twy, you want to take chapter 2? Just go back and forth.
Sure.
I will,
Wait, that was.
I will finish what you started.
Wait, that was a chapter?
Yeah, that was a chapter.
Yeah, that was short.
I'm surprised.
I know you guys might be
All the
traumatized.
chapters like 500 words.
Quite small.
I
Simple
understand
and
you guys
clean.
might be traumatized at this
That's
point
the
by
way that
the
you're making me feel
Ables,
tonight.
which would
Yeah.
just like carry on forever. This is a much more reasonably paced story.
I wanted to I thought having really short chapters would both be more consumable in a web format and also very refreshing after the Ables.
Oh yeah,
Indeed.
Glorious,
Yeah.
even.
Lord, thank you.
Teddy Bear Paladin says, you obvious strange person. You must be a spy. No, I don't know what inconspicuous means. I assume all spies plainly stick out where they infiltrate.
Do you not?
Me personally, I
haven't you
hide
played-
in plain sight.
Haven't you played Assassin's Creed? You can hide in plain sight while armed to the teeth. Fine.
Well, yeah.
What a
honestly.
heavily armed priest.
All right. Alert to Baker Street.
Uh-oh.
Basil sat in his armchair nursing a cup of tea, violin tucked under one arm. It was nearly 3 o'clock in the morning, which meant it was almost time. Much had changed on Baker Street in the last couple years, most especially since Kiara's last visit. Notably, the humans had begun a campaign to clean out and update the sewers. In the process, Radigan's home was destroyed. Out of pity and on account that they were meant to be reconciled, Basil had mentioned in passing the flat above his own being open for rent, but he wasn't certain, and the neighborhood probably wouldn't be to Radigan's taste anyways. Soon after, Basil looked out his window to see Radigan's henchman moving his furniture into the flat upstairs. That was when the trouble began. Odd smells came from Radigan's apartment. Well, he's a rat.
Smoking.
Yeah.
He would often host dinful dinner parties and spilled copious amounts of wine, seeping through the ceiling and dripping into Basil's flat.
How much wine are you spilling?
Have you seen the movie? He's spilling crazy amounts of wine.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I've never seen. I think I mentioned this. I've never seen The Great Mouse.
You gotta watch the movie.
What?
Yeah, you gotta watch the movie.
Yeah, Celtic, don't whine about it too
It's
much.
also been forever since I've seen A Bug's Life. Like, I think the last time I saw it was like in full was in theaters.
Radigan just takes one of those Gatorade.
You're old.
Jugs
No,
of
it was
dumps
only
all over
a
himself.
couple of years ago. I swear.
Nah, dude, you're old.
It's a shame that I don't see a Radigan wine gif on. Shame.
Radagon of the Rodent Order.
But yeah, no,
that's
he's
exactly what I'm
apparently
thinking.
just singing his own character song at least once a week up in that apartment and spilling all that wine.
Bro living his best life.
You do you.
I'll tell you, I used to be the main antagonist, all right? I was so cool. Radigan, I am the big rat that makes all of the rules. That is my theme song. Shut up. It is my theme song. Just Radigan.
I gave a girl a
completely broken.
one time.
The worst of it had been when Radigan brought in a new pet roach, as if his wretched cat, which seemed to visit only to fight Toby, wasn't bad enough. In retaliation, Basil had devoted more time to his lab equipment, whirring and exploding. He adjusted his mailing address so that Radigan would receive it all, and have to trudge down the stairs to offload on Basil. Of current relevance was the new time Basil had designated for his violin playing, strictly during the darkest and most quiet of hours of night, fortissimo. The clock chimed and...
Very loud.
The The clock chimed, and he got up from his chair with a stretch. He tucked the violin under his chin and lowered the bow toward the strings. The pager on Basil's coffee table beeped, and he jumped. The violin bounced on the seat cushions while Basil opened up the pager, a wide grin spreading across his face. It wasn't really a pager, but some bizarre technology that Ratigan had invented in order to enable communications between them and their mutual goddaughter. It had been quite a while since the last time she called, let alone visited. With a few button pushes, the screen activated, and Haley's face flickered into view. Oh, good evening. Isn't it where you are? Basil greeted. That, for some reason, wow.
I'm sorry. You read that as Haley, not as Basil. It's fine.
I know.
This fine.
Wow, Basil became really effeminate between stories.
That is the canon now.
Just like halfway through reading that, I just like had, I don't know, some sort of
Basil embracing that femboy lifestyle.
Good for them.
Traveled through time and kidnapped by a rat for just like a millisecond, and came back and barely knew what I was doing. I'll read that over again though. Oh, good evening, isn't it? Where you are? Basil greeted. How are you? Basil, I need your help. You and Ratigan both, she said. Why? What's wrong? Did something happen to Kiara? Basil started towards his chair, absent-mindedly preparing to sit down. She's gone! What? He sprang to his feet again. What do you mean she's gone? I mean she's been kidnapped! Again! Haley's eyes shined with tears. I think it was Chippendale. He's back! I don't know how he got a time machine. Maybe he copied Ratigan's blueprints, but I definitely heard his voice on Kiara's phone right before it happened. There was a big gust of wind and the windows got smashed and Kiara was gone.
Really happened.
Can we appreciate the fact that Rat getting a time machine is one of the least interesting things that could happen in this fic?
That's old news.
Yeah, that's very old news.
We have a hologram projecting pager that can travel through time and space, and yet you still have to deal with fucking time zones.
It's like, if I had a nickel for every story that dealt with time traveling pagers we talked about, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
I mean, I far be it from me that if you have like the ability to communicate through time, you're constantly being called up about emergencies, because like, why would they call you at any point other than the most immediate time you're available? So like,
yeah,
every time you had that thing on, just be like, oh, by the way, problem is like, wait, are you like 40 years older? Yeah, don't think about it.
There's no time off with time travel.
Speaking of the other fanfic series with a pager and time travel, we could always go back to that one at some point.
Yeah.
Which one was
that? Which one would that be?
Oh yes, that one was a gold mine.
I'm trying to remember which one that was.
Enthusiasm.
Leather pants and burning of Paris.
Oh, legendary. Are you saying that you forgot the legend?
You forget, Raymond?
Okay, in my defense, it has A, been so long, and B, the one of the least ridiculous things about that fic was the time travel pager.
You don't remember?
Oh, I forgot about the Hunchback fan.
I'm sorry, but when I think of Frollo Freak now, I just think of gypsy genocide and like people
Wait a minute,
murdering
what?
each other.
What the fuck?
That is a thing that happened. That happened in
there.
those fics.
You had to
Now,
be there,
YouTube,
man.
if you want the full context for all of this, don't forget to join one of the Patreons so you'll get access to the Tundra, where you can get the full context for what we're talking
No, you can't get the full context. I haven't edited it yet.
Make sure to go and join the Patreon like 2 years ago when we were
Use a time machine from a rat to go back in time.
Yeah,
and join
just
the
get a
Patreon
time
2
travel
years
page.
earlier.
One of the servers, man. It's a time travel server.
What
I'm
you
gonna just
have
bring
to
this
do-
back in the voice chat.
is you have to sign up to the Patreon and then guilt trip Raymond to finally finish those.
Oh my god! You traumatized me. I have no idea how I'm going to read Frollo Freak's writing on stream. You guys can see what he's talking about. She writes like that constantly. She's a black woman writing in the first person constantly, and she uses terms for herself that I am not allowed to say.
Raymond, reveal to your YouTube stream the sampler that I just posted.
Yeah, it's on screen. It's on screen.
Doesn't want to explain.
But yeah, join the Patreon and then explicitly guilt trip Raymond in order to get those out and onto his channel finally.
Let's go.
Oh, I just realized I have been an idiot and not streaming this to you guys. I am so sorry.
Well, I'm watching a YouTube stream anyway.
I'm watching it on YouTube as well.
YouTube stream. This is how you get views.
So
this is how Celtic gets viewers.
So no. I assumed this was like this 4D chess move. It's like, wait, I clearly have the link to the YouTube stream in my tweet, so like people can just watch that and read everything. But no, Celtic's just a moron. You know I love you, man. You know I love you, man.
I know, man.
I feel bad.
Look, I know he's a phoenix, but you don't gotta burn him so hard.
Gotta do it.
Don't worry. Basil's brain kicked into overdrive. We'll find her, and we'll save her. I'll call you again soon. He hung up and went to his maid's closet for the broom. Going to the part of the ceiling that made up the floor in Radigan's bedroom, he banged the broom handle against it. Oh, for the love of God and country, aren't your moonlight sonatas bad enough? Radigan shouted down after a few moments. Radigan, come down here at once. Kiara needs us, and we have work to do.
All right, once again, testing fanfiction.
Who's Kiara?
I think it's a VTuber.
Actually, wait. Isn't it? Isn't the VTuber? Is Kiara?
There is a VTuber named Kiara.
Phoenix,
and
yeah,
who
she's
is
from
a Phoenix?
Unrelated.
I was going to say, like,
it just works out that way.
Well, okay, are we sure unrelated?
Yes.
How are
the
we
algorithm's
sure?
going to hear all this and recommend this video to Kiara, the VTuber? She's going to be really confused.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, how are we sure that they are unrelated? Like, I am.
Also, if you're watching, hi, Kiara.
No, because someone with daddy issues who got traumatized by the divorce of her parents becoming a VTuber makes a lot of sense to me.
She went into the military, all right? That's the last known information I have about Kiara.
That doesn't it only helps make my point.
My God.
I became a VTuber after my parents' divorce is one hell of a light novel title.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I'll take this next one. Chapter 3, to join the colony. And yeah, that pretty much covers it, Kiara finished. The court had relaxed during her story. The crowd at the back diminished. Time travel, incredible, Flick said, standing at the tips of his feet. Oh shit, what voice did I give Flora?
Who cares?
I've already forgotten. Like
Flora has a Michigan accent. She's like, "Oh dear, don't you know?"
Oh, okay. Oh, why does traveling through time make you change your sizes, though? Dr. Flora asked. And how is it that in the future you can be aware of other eras and species through these so-called movies? Mr. Soil asked. Do not expect any of these voices to be consistent. I'm telling everyone out there. I already have that problem in here.
You wanted to fuck the rat? I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get like the story straight because it's wild.
Oh,
she doesn't tell it like that.
Yeah, she doesn't say it like that, but we know.
Well, she
can't say it like that because her parents
would
read
say
her stories.
Exactly.
Subtext.
I know what you are, Kiara.
Subtext.
Fucking subtext.
I don't know. You'll have to take it up with Radigan, Kiara said. If he ever finds me.
The last part was a whisper.
One can only hope this Chippendale you described also shrunk to bug size if he came to our time like you suspect, Queen Ada said. We wouldn't be able to deal with a full-size chipmunk terrorizing us. How? Wait. What time period is the bug's life supposed to be set in? Isn't it just like modern day?
The 90s.
The 90s?
Yeah, 90s.
Yeah.
I know writers who use subtext and they are all cowards.
Having said that, I think it's the 90s. And I put it that
Dark
way.
Place continues to be the
think-
gift that keeps on giving.
I think Kiara thought A Bug's Life was set in like ancient fucking prehistoric, pre-dinosaur fucking times, based off of what I
Did she get it mixed up with
The-
the movie Dinosaur?
Wait, did she
I
miss
think
the
she
part
just-
where
I
the
think she just assumed that they were super, super fucking ancient and not just the 90s, but we're following bugs around.
there's a scene in A Bug's Life where 2 flies go into a bug
know.
zapper?
I know.
And matches.
Yeah,
I'm
they
not
have
claiming that Kiara Phoenix is media literate.
Ye old
Or that
pizza
she
truck.
watched the movie before writing the
Ye old
fanfic recently.
Pizza
relatively recently.
wagon, please.
Pizza wagon. If everything she said is true, Thorny pointed out.
Oh no.
Well, she's a human the size of an ant.
Pretty much anything's possible at this point, Flick said, descending the dais. He took Kiara by the hand, looking at her earnestly with his big blue eyes. I may not have all the resources as your rat friend, but I promise to do my best to find a way to send you back home as well. Thanks. Kiara's face heated, and she ducked her head under the dim lighting. Man, I would love to watch Flick try to create an interdimensional portal with sticks and leaves.
Tries real
Don't
hard.
underestimate him, man.
You know, I'd watch that movie.
Power
Oh
of the
no,
sun
guys,
in
he's
the palm
collected.
of my,
He's collected 10 pieces of obsidian. He can do it.
Holy shit!
he needs flint and steel.
Craft.
Average episode of Dr. Stone.
Queen Ada
So the
chuckled.
villain of this is Ant Hero Ryan.
Queen Ada chuckled as she pushed herself from her throne, holding her thorax. Tired of inventing new toys for her upcoming baby?
Flick turned back to her. Oh no, I mean, if you think they could use another.
That was a joke.
She held up her hand. The nursery is overpacked as it is. Oh my god, Flick, you've been busy. Flick scratched his cheek with a bashful smile.
As for you, you may stay with us for the time being and we'll look after you. The colony can always use another pair of hands in the tunnels.
Wait, you're putting me to work? Kiara asked. That's not how isekais work. I'm supposed to get special treatment.
Of course, it'll be safer for you if you stay hidden underground until both Chippendale and Grasshopper situations are resolved. Besides, you wouldn't want to sit around all day doing nothing, would you?
No, I guess not, she mumbled.
It's decided then.
She addressed the court.
The tiny human shall live among us and contribute to the colony until she is able to return home.
The crowd of attending ants applauded, although many were still exchanging uncertain looks. Thorny walked up to Kiara. Guess that means you'll be working under me. Come on, we'll get you started with the other trainees. Waving at her impatiently, he marched past to the exit to exit the courtroom. Some of the ants parting for him. Kiara followed and looked back over her shoulder at Flick, where he talked with Queen Ada. He gave a little wave, and her face heated again. Oh God, she is going to house. She is going to house. Oh, what's the term? House crash. House.
It's gonna become the new
Home
wreck.
wreck.
You know what I'm
Home
saying?
Wrecker. Thank you. I don't know why my
It's-
brain went to house instead of home.
House
She's going to.
Okay, already
those-
house crashing.
It's like Omni-Man from Invincible. Bug sex, Mark. Bug sex.
Oh god.
She's going to home wreck fucking bugs.
It's true.
Don't think, act.
All right. Twi, if you
I
want to
appreciate
wind
the
it up.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can.
I appreciate the restraint for not setting this in the B movie.
Oh my God,
That's a
we
completely
missed
different
opportunity.
canon.
Oh my God, Ravenwood, where did you find that fucking gif?
I just type in X.
This is not great for my bug phobia.
Oh, I
dude.
hate that.
I
Desist.
hate that.
Use your mod
Quick,
powers to
spam it
delete
with
that
Kingdom Hearts
instantly.
gifts until
I'm
it goes
going to
away.
delete that.
Oh!
Oh,
Good God. Someone post safe for work, Sasuke.
All right. In search of the right tools. Everyone had gathered.
All right, we already described Kiara. All right, there we go.
Everyone had gathered. Dr. Dawson, Radigan, Haley, and even the Flavershams. Basil and Radigan sat in opposing chairs while the others stood close. The hearth was cold. Mrs. Judson offered coffee and biscuits on a tray, although she couldn't speak through the silence. It can't be all that hopeless, Olivia said at last. I'm afraid it is, Radigan said, lighting a cigarette. Without knowing where or when Chippendale took Kiara or Haley's friend Kieran, rescuing either of them could prove impossible. My own research on the clues Chippendale left have been inconclusive, Basil said, gesturing to his lab. We know it was several months ago, during the chaos where Radigan's home was destroyed, that he stole the plans to create his own time machine. There's been no word of him returning to London of our time, and we know that he didn't stay in Kiara's time. So the only logical conclusion is that he established a new base of operations in another era. He told no one what he was doing, Radigan said around the stem of his cigarette holder. The people who put together his machine were either uninformed tradies or silenced after their work was done. He could have killed Kiara any time. Why did he have to involve my friend? This is beyond normal revenge, Haley said. Might it not be reasonable to assume that he wouldn't go further in the past than in our own time? Nor beyond Kiara and Haley's time? Dawson asked. He seems like the sort of fellow who couldn't do without the technologies he's known, but would be confused by anything too advanced.
Wait, I'm sorry, I should have to ask. Is Haley a human or
Haley's a human. Haley's Kiara's sister.
Okay, so is Haley like in the Radigan
She's in the mouse world now.
right
She's
now?
the size of a mouse.
Okay, so I'm sorry, what?
This is established facts of canon.
Ben said, I'm sorry.
I love the casual nature of just some of these things we say. She's in the mouse world now. She's the size of a mouse.
This is established.
As one is, you know.
This is established. What a sentence.
Listen, it's a sequel.
It is known.
Do your homework.
As it is written.
It's too bad that anyone who wasn't part of Bad Fanfiction Night during the first reading couldn't do their homework with us.
Well, you could be part of future Bad Fanfic Nights if you join Patreon right now.
Yeah, you should have joined
best
Raymond's
salesman over
Patreon and
here.
joined
So
the
look, I
Discord
hope you're
server
paying
in
us for all the free plugs we're
2021.
getting.
Bruh.
You're paying me to make them.
And you're not making them.
Everyone on this
Listen,
server.
everybody needs a cut here, all right?
And this is why I said you need to guilt trip him. It's the only way.
We're starting.
Now I made Raymond very depressed.
I have so
What'll
much
come
I
out
need
first,
to
Volume
do.
5 Part 2 or Bad Fanfiction Night
Okay, I'm gonna push back. Technically speaking, a Bad Fanfiction Night is airing live right now, so you are.
I said Bad
demonstrating-
Fanfiction Night edits.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I could just edit one little thing and
Don't
release it.
sort of blindfold us.
No,
I didn't
release it
hear
on
him.
YouTube
For the
Shorts.
record, I when I do these, I always have one earphone off so I can hear my own voice, so I'm not like overdoing it in certain regards and blowing out my mic. So sometimes I don't hear things super clearly. I apologize.
Oh,
It's all fine.
I have my whole headphone on, so sometimes I get in trouble for being too loud. Even narrowing the likely time periods by that much, we would never be able to find Kiara or Kieran in time. Basil's voice reverberated bitterness. Why not? Flaversham asked. It's a time machine, innit? Shouldn't you always be able to go to when they're both alive, when both can be saved? It doesn't work like that, Radigan hissed. If it were that simple, we could go before Kiara was kidnapped and prevent this whole mess. The nature of the time machine is that it doesn't allow for paradoxes. He gestured with the cigarette holder. Once something has happened within a timeline, it can't be undone. Events only progress in a linear fashion, and better for all of us that limitation exists. But that means if Chippendale kills Kiara and Kieran before we can find them... Olivia trailed off. Heavy silence pressed down again. Radigan puffed, staring into the dark hearth. There's one thing we can do, he began. What? Haley asked. To find Kiara efficiently, we'll need a temporal singularity locator. However...
Is that all?
I happen
That's
to
all.
have 3. They're over there.
With seasoned salt.
Just pop down to the convenience store and get one.
Oh yeah,
You know.
obviously.
It's right
Yeah,
next
it's
to
next
the
to
grape
Plutonium.
soda. It's right next to the Diet Cola.
Where no one would ever find it.
Yeah, pick that up at the convenience store next to the batteries worth 1.21 gigawatts.
Yes. However, even with my vast intellect, I fear that it would take too long to create the device myself. It would be more expedient if we paid a trip to the far future and borrowed the key components we need to make the locator.
Yes. Borrowed.
Radigan, you're meant to have turned over a new leaf, Basil warned. But it's for Kiara's sake. I did the same thing to get the medicine to fix her broken arm. Did you mean the arm you broke? Bygones, water under the bridge. He waved a flippant hand, but wore a scowl. If you're going into the future to help Kiara, then I'm coming with you, and we'll acquire this technology ethically. Fine, have it your way. Ratigan stalked off out the door, stomping up the stairs. Basil sighed, sagging into his chair. Don't worry, Mr. Basil, Olivia said, drawing near. You've solved all sorts of missing person cases, including my father. I'm certain you can do it again. Thank you, child, he ruffled her hair. My parents and Kieran's parents are all relying on you too, Haley said. You and Radigan both. So don't give up, all right? He smiled. Thank you as well. He stretched his back before taking a deep swig of coffee. Right. Let's find Kiara and your friend.
It was like a conscious effort while writing this fic to remember that Kieran existed.
She's such a non-entity.
I feel kind
I
of...
think it's a guy.
I feel unfortunate because, like, I think the order is bug, then rat, bug, which means I'm not going to be voicing Radigan for a while.
That's not true. Some of the chapters are like a couple of rat chapters in a row, and then some of it's
Okay,
a couple
good,
of bug chapters in a row.
I
So it's
didn't
not
want to miss
quite
missing.
just back and forth.
I love.
Also, I was gonna
voice
say. Also, I was gonna say, don't worry about it, Moopa. I always forget that Yoli and Cody exist in Digimon O2.
And unfortunately, there is one person you want to forget, but you can't.
Nope. He's right there, right in your face, at all times.
Chapter 5?
I guess so.
PDF doesn't label the chapter numbers, unfortunately.
Ah, right. The circus returns. Kiara whistled as she pushed a wheelbarrow of dirt through the tunnels. All around her, ants dug new passages, expanded old chambers, fit new supports, and decorated the walls with carvings, mushrooms, or paintings. She'd arrived to Ant Island in her pajamas, so the ants had given her new clothes to work in. She wore a skirt fashioned from a blade of grass, and her shirt was made of flower petals. Okay. That sounds like
Probably
sturdy.
hard fashion.
That's not gonna fall apart at all.
It's ant engineering. It holds really well, and also it's huge on her.
Don't you mean engineering?
Exactly.
She reached
Take
the
a
other end of
shot
the digging
every time
pod.
the word ant is used.
I won't die.
I've been ant digging in the ant tunnels all ant day.
For legal reasons, that
I
was
was
a
just
joke.
wondering if you wanted to hang out with me and
For
smoke
legal
ranch
reasons.
weed and fill our bellies with French diet soda.
I just
Is
wanted
this
to.
new Smurfin?
I just wanted to know if you wanted to hang out with me and smoke ant weed and play drink.
You want to up
Ant
the
Burnout
ante a
3 on
bit?
the Ant PS3.
It only been a couple of days. She reached the other end of the digging projects where they were refilling abandoned tunnels and rooms and dumped her wheelbarrow. With a small grunt, she pivoted and proceeded back where she started. It had only been a couple of days, but Kira had already settled into a routine. There were communal sleep spaces, communal cafeterias, communal everything. In addition to learning the intricacies of tunnel digging, Kira had learned where she fit into all those shared spaces, and had learned the warning signals. The ants had established a regular guard around the island again, and in addition to light signals, had made hand signals and horn signals, which she couldn't use, so she was just kind of shit out of luck on that one. Stop posting the gif of the guy from Smiling Friends. I get distracted too much looking at it. I love the animation. It's just so weird.
Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, you can see more of these gifs if you join Patreon.
Stop pushing. There's such a thing as an oversell.
Well, hey, at least it's not you doing it.
Kiara rejoined the line of ants, waiting for their wheelbarrows to be refilled when horn blasts sound. Oh,
Those kinds of horns.
Those kinds of horns. Okay, that makes. I was like, wait, ants don't have horns; they have antennas. So I was kind of confused, but it's like, it could just be a mistake intentionally.
I never make mistakes.
Well, no, but like putting yourself in the headspace of like the voice of writing of Kiara, like whatever you did to access the space to write this, that could be an intentional mistake. Savvy?
Yeah, savvy, but it's not.
Okay. Kiara rejoined the line of ants waiting for their wheelbarrows to be refilled when horn blasts sounded. Everyone froze. Kiara ran through the different signals in her mind. 2 short blasts plus 1 long meant... Visitors! The ant next to her announced. Stopping what they were doing, the ants abandoned their work and hurried to see the newcomers. Kiara was caught up in the swell, panting alongside everyone up the tunnels back to the surface. She flinched, eyes shut against the sun. They continued to rush around her as she paused and rubbed her glasses. Rubbed under her glasses. No, she rubbed her glasses. Her glasses were hurting. When she lowered her hands, she smiled wide. In the open space before the hill, a pair of trailers made out of colorful cardboard boxes pulled by 2 millipedes parked before the gathered ants. From the back of the rear trailer exited 2 pill bugs, a stick bug, a ladybug, a black widow, a mantis, a gypsy moth, a rhino beetle, a molting grasshopper, a team of ants, and 1 very fat butterfly. I forgot there were that many characters in A Bug's Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 8 years old when I remembered half these people.
It was before Pixar learned restraint.
A flea jumped around, loudly attempting to do most of the talking. The team of acrobatic ants embraced old friends, and a group of schoolgirls, including Princess Dot, clustered around the ladybug. The ants were practically climbing over each other, yet the visitors took it in stride and greeted everybody in return regardless. Kiara's feet skid in the dirt as she ran down the anthill, hurrying to meet the circus bugs. I just look Kiara being like, the bad anthills! They've come for us!
Oh, here's the first of the double chapters. Chapter 6, A Little Too Cozy. Boy, usually we're the freaks, Francis said, earning him an elbow from Slim. No, it's all right, Kiara laughed. Back when I was in Victorian London, I pretended to be a freak for a while to get by, called myself the human mouse. The Intrepid gathered around Kiara, the other ants dissipating after having said their
hellos. No, the ants! They've been Thanos.
You got Thanos snapped.
There they go.
Also, I was going to say, like, these bugs just like look at her. What's London?
Yeah.
You wanted to fuck a rat?
Well, I guess Flick always did have a knack for attracting colorful actors, Rosie mused. What do we have here? The former queen strolled across the dirt plain, carrying her pet Alfie and Cornelius following behind. Oh, she is still alive.
Yeah.
She and Cornelius had something of a retirement shack on the surface now, with flowers on the roof and a shallow pool.
To make them more vulnerable to the elements and all other sorts of predators.
They'll be
Just fuck them.
Listen, no one can stand to hear them fucking at night, all right? They're too noisy. They gotta keep out of the anthill.
Why do you think I had to pause to laugh after I said retirement shack?
It's only there for one reason and one reason only.
You know, Fat Man, this is what happened to Bugston at the end of his journey.
Oh no!
What do you mean, oh no? He gets a retirement shack.
but he's vulnerable to predators.
Every
he's
night.
too gullible. He'll fall for anything.
Oh my god! Just Bugston outside, like tending to a little field, just like with a hoe, and you just hears, "Hey, hold still." He's like, "Oh, okay." And he's the bird. Just...
Fancy you all paying us a visit. Did you need to hide out for a while? She laughed heartily. Barry, so good to see you again, Manny said, and he and Gypsy both gave the former queen and Cornelius kisses on each cheek. Ah, finally! Here come the rest of the royal welcome, PT said, nodding to Queen Atta and her court descending the hill. It's great to see you all, Queen Atta said. Dr. Flora and Francis greeted each other, as did Slim and Mr. Soil. Did you all have a safe journey? Ja, why wouldn't we? Heimlich asked. By the way, where is Flick?
I can't believe you actually wrote it out to make it sound
Sure did.
German.
Shitty writing 101.
Yeah.
God, and you
flashbacks
didn't
to
even do the
my
accent from the movie. It's way more exaggerated. Yeah, why wouldn't we? By the way, where is Flick?
Toaster strudel.
I want to become a beautiful butterfly.
exactly.
I want to become a beautiful butterfly.
Oh, he really talks.
Da.
Yep. So it's one of the few things that I actually remember about their voices from that movie because I forgot to watch it before Bad Fanfiction Night.
I was gonna say, like, I remember
And
Heinrich, and I remember the ladybug
I
having
assume
like
you
the
knew this would
manliest
appear.
voice.
I did, but I had other things to do today, so I got distracted.
I just remember the ladybug was basically just the short guy from Mulan.
Jersey or New York, like pick a city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the short guy from Mulan has like 50 more cigarettes in his throat than the ladybug.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
I am Yao, king of the rock.
Oh no, Yao, King of the Rock versus the big rat who makes all of the rules.
He's sick.
I'm glad I didn't see either movie.
Oh, he's probably in his lab, Kiara said. He's so kind. He works all day and night for my sake. Out of the corner of her eye, Ada grimaced. I'll go get him.
Ooh.
No, that's okay. We can send someone. Queen Ada tried to intervene, but Kiara had already turned on heel and scurried back up the anthill. Ada let her hand fall. Is something going on? Slim asked. You're fired? Tuck and Roll inquired. Queen Ada sighed. Dr. Flora said, It's a bit of a delicate situation. Embarrassing, I think you mean, Queen Ada turned. She told you how she's from the future, right? Well, Flick has been trying to build a time machine to get her home.
Oh,
Is that even possible? Manny asked. If anyone can do it, Flick can. Kiara keeps checking on his progress. And that would be fine if that was all it was, but... But... Gypsy implored.
Oh, God.
Give me time in this thing. We gotta go, motherfuckers. We gotta go.
It's a good thing I have the cross in my room right now.
It's gonna be that scene in frickin' Galaxy Quest where they're just like, like it. Oh, with Tony Shalhoub, where he's getting like dragged back into the room with the tentacles, just like, oh yes, your feelers. Oh yes, like your antenna, they're so smooth.
Is Galaxy Quest the one where the actors from the show end up like in a
Yes, and it is one of the best Star Trek films ever made.
Yeah.
I've only seen the film.
That's not an insult to Star Trek films, for the record. I love a lot of them, but like
it's not. It's just true.
It is. Galaxy Quest is like gets a star of approval from almost every Star Trek fan I've met.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Kiara's bare feet pitter-pattered down the winding root staircase. Flick's slab had been placed in the most stable part of the anthill, and the furthest from every other structure. There were several warning signs for explosions, bad smells, and other hazards along the way. The lab itself looked cluttered, although Flick would assure anyone he knew exactly where to find anything he needed. Flick's knew... He's just Basil. She turned him into Basil.
Kiara has a type.
She does, yes.
You determined that?
And then he turned into Basil. Funniest shit I've ever seen.
I've done on this person.
She wants Basil and also Radigan.
Mupa is the ultimate Kiara L. Phoenix fangirl. Don't question her.
Damn.
But why though?
I
do not question the insanity of the fanatic of the fanfic fan who loves bad fanfic.
Donate $1 or more to my Patreon to help us fund a private detective to track down Kiara Phoenix and get her to interview with us.
You're doing far too much work there, Celtic.
I would pay
no.
so much money to hear that.
It's
oh my
not
God.
really that much work. It's the work is all on the detective. Like that's the private eye. She wants a Basil on the Baker Streets, but Radigan in the sheets.
That's some crazy shit.
and now she's added to it because she wants a flick on the anthill.
Tundra server.
She wants a flick on the anthill.
Shut up.
Wait, wait a minute. Oh.
Flick's newest project dominated the middle of the floor. Several leaf boards stood covered in equations, numbers, and shapes. Flick stared at the leaf board, tapping his chin with a splinter of charcoal he held. Kiara held her breath as she crept up behind him. Surprise! She hugged him tight around the middle. Gah! With a laugh, Flick disentangled himself and took a step back. Kiara, did you need something? Did I scare you? She folded her hands behind her back, rolling on her heels. Yes, very much. Did you need something? PT Circus is back. She wrapped herself around his arm, already pulling him towards the exit. Really? He stumbled to keep up. Come on, let's go see them. She grinned as she trotted, ignoring the glances from others as they passed.
Yo, Starling Hills.
Yeah, you getting a bit close to Ada's husband there.
I think we'll do 2 more chapters, and I think we'll be good for the night.
Okay. Oh, we are going late.
Yeah, we typically only go about an hour and a half. So we'll be pushing this.
We've been just having so much fun. Time got away on us.
I'm so glad.
It has been so long. I mean, legitimately, it's been months since we read something that made us want to continue reading it, where it hasn't been like
something actually fun.
Yeah, something actually fun. The Ables
man.
for those of you that don't know, the Ables is just a slog of a book. Like, there are funny things about it that are really fucking stupid, but my God, between the funny bits, there is just so much. Just we get it, move on.
Yeah.
The amount of shit that you have to wade through just to get to something that is an approximation of funny or meme worthy or whatever you want to call it is just unreal.
Yeah, I'm almost surprised we finished it.
Yeah.
It's an
and-
endurance
if-
test.
Are we even proud of that?
No, not at all. I'm not.
I'm a little
Spain,
bit.
every-
I'm a little bit because we're true to our word.
I'm Spain without the A. Anyway, confronting the elephant. I mean,
In the room.
look, I was more of a fan of their older work. Their newer work hasn't quite hit. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong band. Never mind.
Are you thinking of Paige the Elephant?
That's the joke.
I feel ridiculous, jealous towards a teenager.
Ada finished, arms folded tightly.
There, your majesty.
There, your majesty. I'm trying. Yeah, I lost my Michigan accent. My accents are all over the place. There, your majesty. Dr. Flora soothed and patted her shoulder. It's not just in your head. We all see it too. Somebody really needs to sit that whippersnapper down and have a talk with her, Cornelius said.
I like how she's focusing on Yara being a teenager and not, a human.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
We have our
If it was an
priorities
adult
straight.
human, though, she's all for it.
I mean, you've seen the B movie, right? It works.
I wish I didn't.
I love that cat.
I like
All right. If you don't mind, Manny and his wife stepped forward. Gypsy and I have always had a way with words, not to mention life experience. Kiara and Flick appeared at the top of the hill, her still pulling him along by the arm. Here he is, Kiara announced, stepping back as her arms gestured with a flourish towards Flick. It's fine, fine, Thorny said. Now get back to work already with all the others. Kiara groaned a little as she turned and walked away, and the short ant followed after her. Okay, pause here. You're an indentured servant at this part. She is not
What's she
allowed to,
gonna do?
I mean, she could just say, no, I'm not going to work today. Like, I'm going to hang out with the cool circus people.
What, be lazy in an anthill?
Yeah, she's a guest, and they're just putting her to
you
work.
got
She
me
has nothing
hella
else to
fucked
do.
up.
Now she has something else to do.
Nah.
Yes, you could say.
Now, Kiara, while you're with the ants, you work. You want to be lazy? Go over there where the grasshoppers are.
Dang.
So
You know,
true.
Kira flirting with the queen's, I want to say like husband, is making me feel really antsy. You could say.
Nah.
Aha!
Boo.
-2.
Boo.
You're welcome, YouTube.
I concur.
Flick looked once at all the others and took in their expressions. He sighed and let his face fall into his hands. You all saw that? A bit lax with her, don't you think? Slim said, peering down at the ant. Sorry, he rubbed at the back of his neck. I did try talking to her, but I don't think I really came across. She sort of sidestepped me. Maybe if you use a rock to help explain it to her, Atlas said very dryly. Fucking Ada, just like, I welcomed her here as a guest. Now I want her dead.
Listen, I didn't know that rock was gonna hit her in the head. Okay.
I plead the fifth, Your Honor.
Man, not working while staying in an anthill, that's like trying to eat a hot dog without putting catsup on it first. Okay, first of all, how dare you call it catsup like that? And secondly, mustard only. 1v1 me,
Caramel
bitch.
onions are the way to go.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Mustard only.
Did I hear the word mustard
chili,
only?
cheese.
Yes.
Ew.
Y'all
You're
are freaks.
disgusting, Raymond.
Y'all are freaks.
Wait,
Mustard,
how do we feel about
sometimes
relish?
cheese, if available. Shredded cheese on top.
How do we feel about relish?
Okay, that I can agree on.
Yeah.
Yes,
Relish
It
is
mustard,
optional.
ketchup,
Ew.
relish.
I've
Double
never
ew.
managed to
Triple
get into
ew.
relish.
Oh,
Me neither.
Kira had moved on
No
from
mayo?
transporting wheelbarrows of dirt and was now tapping a heavy mallet against a support beam, edging it into place.
Edging it.
I was damn it, that man! I was about to.
You could have said so many other things.
Other ants continued to dig and work all around her as if there had been no interruption. Kiara paused for breath and surreptitiously tried to wipe away some of the sweat. None of the other ants sweated or had body odor or any other human inconvenience. Okay, I'm pretty sure ants still shit. I'm just gonna point that out there.
Also, I'm pretty sure real life ants communicate purely through odor.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Oh my god!
pheromones.
Can you imagine? Like she's just working a mild sweat, and everyone's just like fucking confused. Like, girl, why are you telling us to go? Like,
girl's a psychopath.
go 5 miles marching left. It's like, what were you talking about?
5 miles.
5 ant miles.
Kiara froze in horror for a moment at the thought of her.
It's a fear move.
Say it. Say it.
Say it.
Finish the goddamn line.
Give me a moment to compose myself.
Finish
Kiara
it.
froze in horror for a moment at the thought of her period coming while she was still miniaturized.
What the?
I wasn't going to make the joke, but I thought of Flick making her an ant
Anybody who
version
knows
of,
me, this is a loopism.
tampon.
Oh my lord.
Hello, Kiara, came the sweeping voice of Manny, and Kiara jumped a little. Oh, hello, Manny. Gypsy. She turned to the mantis and moth, relaxing. Sorry, but my days of playing the freak in the show are behind me. Not that. We just thought we'd have a word with you. They gestured to her, and she moved closer, stepping away from her work. Okay, about what? Now, Kiara, while it's true we've only just met you, already we have a great deal of sympathy for you and your plight, Manny said, his voice lowered to a normal tone. I don't remember how he speaks at all. And that's why we wanted to caution you as friends about your recent behavior towards Flick, Gypsy added. My what? He's a married man, Kiara, and expecting a child soon. Expecting probably a lot of children soon, actually. That's kind of how queens work. Manny went on. Not to mention how much older he is than you. Frankly, my dear, your flirtations with him aren't appropriate at all, and you had better cease.
This is a Disney movie, for God's sake.
It took Kiara a moment, and then her vision sparked with red. Oh no! Her laser vision is coming in!
Killer instinct.
Holy shit, it's Homelander.
All right, Twy, round us out.
Alrighty.
Tumbling
Tumbling down. I am not flirting with him. Kiara, honey, there's no need for you to shout, Gypsy said softly.
One minute. Nami nom noms. Makes sense. Periods don't shrink or grow. They're always the same. Full stop.
Oh my lord.
So this stream is totally getting demonetized at this point.
10 out of 10.
No. Once you hit like the 20-minute mark, you can start really saying some crazy shit. I'm just.
Okay.
So we just have to like stall.
Hold on.
Of course.
Or was it the first 2 hours? Shit. Just as long as you keep it spaced well enough, it doesn't pick up on it. It's gratuitous amounts and like extreme circumstance.
If there's too much like in a row, that's where the problems start happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? At this point, like, why even have the rules if they're this obtuse?
Because they need to pretend that they're a real company.
I can't remember.
Fair enough.
Do they have
For tax purposes.
Have they done the AI summary thing yet for my streams?
Oh dear God.
Why would you summon that?
Back up. Pause.
Because-
Wait,
because
what? They're doing
honestly-
what now? To what?
No.
Okay,
Is that
so-
like suggesting tags and stuff? Like
No.
using-
So like, I haven't seen it myself yet, but I know that some live streams have this.
I've seen it.
Where you're watching a stream, and I'm trying to open it up in my own.
Oh no! God, I saw a short about that.
Yeah, and it tries to summarize basically what like the chat is talking about.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up and see if.
That's probably that's probably still in beta. So
Why would
Yeah,
you do that?
Well, no,
We're so
I find it
cooked.
hilarious because you can get some really wild results, and I just want to see like it's compiling from everything that chat is talking about. So I'm wondering
But that's
now.
chat.
Well, yeah,
They're-
that's
they're
the
doing
fun.
that-
Is like because it tries to figure out from chat what the stream is about, and that's just the fun of it.
Oh, I love the reactions to Sai's stream, because she mostly talks about Lily Orchard.
Oh God.
Oh dear.
Viewers are debating on a YouTube video
Jesus.
essayist argument that the character Opal from the cartoon Steven Universe is based on a Hindu deity when there's no evidence to suggest that's true.
Hey,
Yeah, that's all it does.
All right.
They have that in Facebook.
And I don't even fuck with that
There's
drama.
some deep lore going on here.
All right. Well, they don't have it on
Is it
mine
like
as far as I
Orchard
can
or like
tell.
Orchard?
So we'll
Yeah,
have to
sorry.
wait for that benefit.
Yeah. The other ants didn't stop their work, but they turned their heads and twitched their antenna. Well, excuse me, but I can't help it when people are accusing me. Kiara took a step back, waving her free arm around. I mean, I'm a human. He's an ant. You're talking... Didn't stop you, girl.
You have.
Why
Oh
the
my
fuck
God.
Y'all know I'm into rats.
Meanwhile, the crowd is
He
like,
brought it up
"So
as a
that's
crime
the-
against
that's
God
the
in the
girl I
rat,
wanted
the
to
first rat
fuck
fic too.
rap, right?
Jesus. One of these days, lightning, please, just miss. I beg of you.
This motherfucker don't miss.
I just
For those
fucking
of
saw
you
that. Oh
who
god.
have never been in the tundra. Lightning in my hand is quite literally the fastest meme in the West. He will meme shit far faster than anyone else can. Lightning in my hand is
See
not an
more memes
exaggeration.
by lightning in my hand when you subscribe to one of the patrons.
Oh my! Okay, the bit is dead. Drop it.
So I got
The bit's never over.
but I don't know where.
Don't let the flame die out.
He's an ant. You're talking about a crime against God and nature. Apparently now it's wrong for me to be interested in Flick's progress in helping me get home?
Yes.
That's not
A little
what
too
we...
interested.
That's not what Manny began. Except actually, I don't even really have a home to go back to, do I? She paced in a small circle, back and forth from the support beam she'd been working on. By the time I get back, it'll be a broken home with a broken family because my parents decided to get a freaking divorce!
Oh.
Wait, Gypsy said.
I forgot this was a plot point.
I'm actually really interested in this angle you're going with.
What's wrong with my mom? Anyways, my dad's a great guy, but instead of trying to see things from his perspective, she and him go have a big stupid fight and get separated. She held her mallet with both hands now, swinging it about. The insects backed away from her. And while they're both distracted with that, I have to deal with a maniac chipmunk gangster who's obsessed with killing me. It's not fair!
Total breakdown.
This is where like the camera zooms out and you just see that she's in a straitjacket being pushed into an asylum.
Don't worry, Kiara. Lunch will be here soon.
Ant asylum.
Don't
It's
worry,
the beginning
Kiara,
of
we have
Arkham
your
Asylum
favorite
and stuff
pudding
instead
today.
of Joker. It's Kira. Or Kiara.
She spun and slammed her mallet into the support beam. It fell aside, crashed against another support beam, which fell to the ground, and its attached to supports began to crumble with it. No, not that one! An ant shouted. All around them, the tunnel began to shake and groan. Kernels of dirt fell, bouncing off of Kiara's glasses. The structures at the second support beam had been attached to climbed up and up, spiderwebbed left and right. The ants and Kiara scrambled out of the way, while Manny and Gypsy flew down the tunnels fast as their wings could take them. Yelling, screaming, panic and confusion as tunnels collapsed. Each floor fell into itself, floor into ceiling, ceiling into wall, up and up until blinding daylight shone. Kiara huddled with a small group of ants next to a stable wall, watching and waiting until the dirt, sticks, and grass stopped falling. When she brushed some of the dust off of her glasses, Kiara could only stare with her teeth on edge. In the middle of the dirt plain, just shy of both the slope and the ant hill, where the circus wagons had been parked. The tunnels had collapsed into a massive pit. She and the other ants staggered to survey the damage, while still others scurried about, calling for anybody who was injured and trapped. Only when it became apparent that nobody was in need of dire medical assistance did Kiara's chest loosen a little. Who did this? Thorny thundered, his voice echoing over pit and plain, and Kiara's chest tightened again. The ants that she had huddled with for shelter all took a step back, staring pointedly. From among the cross-sections of upper tiers, Thorny and Kiara made eye contact, and he jumped down, marching towards her. What happened? It was an accident, she said. She was having another temper tantrum, an ant nearby said.
Just, Kiara, like,
no!
Bitch, sell me out like that?
Yeah, the ant colony really do be like that.
No, that's not fair. It was... You know what? I don't care, Thorny interrupted. Not even Flick caused this much mayhem, and definitely not because he couldn't control his temper. You're off tunnel duty.
Yay?
You're gonna be in food scavenging, so you're probably gonna
Oh, no!
there thanks to humans' feet or something.
The next chapter is called The Spy. The blue spy has entered the base.
Gentlemen.
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh my
the red spy.
God.
Not Team Fortress.
It's foreshadowing. Ooh, I said there was a
What are you,
spy on
president
the
of this
island.
fan club or something?
You mean on Ant
That-
Island? Have you heard of the critically acclaimed YouTube channel Celtic Phoenix Productions with an expanded Patreon membership which includes the entirety of the Team the Frostbite reactions and the award-winning Tundra Discord server for free with no restrictions on playtime? Patron now and join the Tundra today.
To all of us.
That's it. I'm getting me mallet.
It's like that was such a character trait that stood out to me from when she drew comics of her fucking rat fic. How Kiara, when she got mad, she just started breaking other people's shit. It was like
That's
such
really
a thing that
interesting.
stood out
It's
to me
actually
as a
really,
character
I like this
trait.
angle.
Hey, you know, what else are you supposed to do when you're mad?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I would just be fascinated to like just meet her parents and just. I mean, I admittedly I would never like. It'd be so rude and whatever to like dig into the actual drama. But like my gossip curiosity is just like, what the fuck happened? And like, is Kiara just seeing her father through rose tinted glasses? Or
I imagine.
I imagine so.
Eventually.
Like that's what the sense I get from her is that she's a complete daddy's girl.
And eventually you're gonna use this on talk about this on a true crime podcast.
Oh my god, dude! If we learn like later that Kiara Phoenix went off to become like a rat-themed serial killer or something, like
That's there's no way.
I mean, Bat Fanfic Night
Yeah,
is
but we-
basically true crime podcast, except it's with Bat Fanfic.
the woman was only
we've
stopped
entered
after
the
police
therapist.
after police tracked her down and arrested her in her home. What they discovered there was horrifying. Several mutilated corpses, and in the basement, a crude set of mannequins patched together to form the vague shape of rats from the film The Great Mouse Detective.
Son of a bitch.
Man,
I
little did we
discovered that I
know
can't
that
say
bad
true
fan
crime
fiction
podcast.
night.
The bones have been removed and chiseled down to resemble the bugs from Bugs.
And then
then
some
the
movie
horror-
studio later used it to like make a really
Tom,
bad horror movie.
Tom, if you're watching, all right, you can start the podcast on this. This one's for free.
And in the corner of her basement is the link to the Patreon.
Yeah.
This
There's a
podcast is
link to a
sponsored by the
Patreon
Tundra
and something that
Discord
says
server. For
totally
$1
not
more, you
framed
can
by the
join
Celtic
Patreon
Phoenix.
server.
All right. Well, I hope everyone had a good time. I'm glad we're back to a relatively short. I mean, like we're already like a fifth of the way through. So yeah.
Yeah. How far are we? Chapter's done.
I honestly missed this.
It's nice.
Can't clap
It's
for
nice.
It was good.
God.
Oh my god,
makes
going
me so
somewhere in a
happy here.
story. Who would have
Makes
thought?
it so worth it.
Impossible.
It really
The
is. And
pacing is brisk as hell.
yeah, and I gotta compliment Moopa. You're capturing the vibes completely. It's great.
Thank you.
The vibe check has been passed.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I hope everyone had a good time, and I suppose we'll catch you all on the next one.
If you want to catch the next one, join the Celtic Phoenix Patreon to access the Tundra Discord server.
Good night,
He just
everybody.
said get
Good night,
one in
everybody.
before the end, didn't you?
Good
never ends.
night.
Good night, everybody.